kicking the back of her boyfriend's feet. And when his shoe came off,
he leans over to pick it up, and the guy who had been kicking him jumped on top of him.
Beating him, she says, even in the face.
It was pretty horrible. His face was really bad.
Tenalia says as she held her daughter, the guards knocked her to her knees as well, then pulled her 6-year-old from her arms.
And they kept saying that my kids were going to jail. And we were going to jail.
Yet Tenalia and Skako were the ones charged with battery. Theirs just one in a string of nearly a dozen arrests over more than 2 years found by CBS 5 Investigates. Arrests experts say raise questions about how security guards at Six Flags treat customers.
But those private security guards can only make citizens' arrests. It's Vallejo police who then come to the scene to make the real arrest. So we wanted to know what police would say about those incidents.
I'm not familiar with any other cases.
He's Vallejo Police Lieutenant Abel Tenorio.
Do you know whether Vallejo Police Department has ever looked into the conduct of the guards in any of these incidents?
I do not know that.
But he says police don't just rely on the guards' accounts, they do their own investigation.
And that's the same level of investigation as these officers would give to any call that they receive anywhere in Vallejo.
Yes.
But not so, says former police officer and Sacramento private security trainer Steve Caballero.
This is just not going to happen. They're not going to stand there and try to investigate the entire situation and talk to everybody and spend hours and hours and hours on that site.
And why?
Because the police department is very stacked up.
Which could explain why, in Tenalia and Skako's case, the arrest report doesn't mention something critical. A witness who supports the couple's version of events, describing in this statement provided to their lawyer how a crew, 6 or so security guards, attacked Andrew Skako, then stomped him to the ground.
The guards, quote, stomped him to the ground.
Why didn't they approach the police officers that were there?
You're saying it's the witness's job to find the police officers?
No.
Isn't it the police officer's job to find the witnesses?
No, yes. The police officers can try to find witnesses.
So what about looking into serious injuries sustained by some guests in those incidents? Like Corey Carlson. His run-in with the guards over the summer left him with broken facial bones and a concussion.
Isn't it the police officer's job to take a look at that and say, you know, wait a minute, I want to know how that guy wound up looking that way?
Isn't that what happens when they're out there to make the arrest?
I don't know. That's the question.
That's what's supposed to be taking place.
Wow.
But Caballero, who reviewed the nearly dozen cases found by CBS 5, says what he sees as a lack of investigation raises disturbing questions.
In some cases, and maybe even the police department would have a problem here.
Why?
Because they were at the scene. They should have investigated to the point where they would talk to the person that was injured, conduct a very thorough investigation.
Something Tenalia believes never happened in their case.
To me, it's pretty absurd when there's 2 people sitting there with injuries that are being charged with battery. Who knows what else they could have done? It was really scary.
And just today, Six Flags told us the investigation it began as a result of our story is finished. And the company has concluded that its security personnel operated in accordance with training and protocols. And the park says the guards' response was dictated by the behaviors and actions of the guests. Now, we've posted the company's entire statement on the web. Just go to CBS5.com and click on CBS 5 Investigates. Ken, we'll keep following this story.
All right, Anna Werner, thank you for that.